Welcome back to the third part of the woodland garden installation I have going on. Let's go back to early April again and see the before. This was before obviously anything had been done. And here was the plan. We didn't deviate much except for changing the contour of the creek and the bridge a little bit. And here's where we're at today. I'd say about 85-90% done. Pretty dramatic. So here was the before. And then here's where we're at today. Big changes out there. It's starting to really come together. Really nice. So this was in the last video where we had that big delivery, a semi-truck full of plants. Most of those are in the ground. There's still a little bit left. You can see to the right here, there's some hibiscus, some sedum, some Japanese grass. But I think that's going to all flank the driveway. And in the back here, this is all done. I mean, it's ready for me to start seeding. And in fact, I think after I record this, I'm going to go out there and start doing a little bit of leveling and put some seed down. We decided to do some mulch instead of having grass go right to it. And there's some cool iris moss between the stepping stones that should fill in really nicely. And if you remember, or if you followed me before on my Instagram, you know how I keep my edges. So the grass will come to that mulch, and then it'll be a live edge. I like to really keep a knife, like almost like a cliff there. So that's going to be the plan. Once the grass gets established, we'll come cut that in. Around the back, we've got some ground cover going in. They put in the cedar path that kind of steps us down to the back steps. There's some viburnums, some sweet woodruff, some barrenwort. I'm reading up the plan. I don't know what half those plants are. The dogwoods there, those should actually get pretty big. I think those are the dogwoods, not the service berries. But those should get, I think they said like 18 feet. But we'll keep them trimmed up nice. We can see along the creek, it's really starting to fill in nicely. There's a lot of different, they brought in some color with that ilium. There's a hibiscus there that should bloom soon. It's really cool to see the bees around that ilium. But it's starting to fill in. I mean, they have to do a little bit more, like clean up with some mulch or add some mulch, but it's coming together. In the back, they've been bringing in, truckloads of mulch every day. I think it's spec'd out for 150 yards of mulch. There are some grasses that they just planted this week in the back. That's pretty much because that's where my septic field is. You can see those 4 posts are just kind of outlying where my septic tank's at. I'm going to rip those sticks out, and then we couldn't plant anything too major towards the back to mess with that field tile there. But it should be nice, though. It should all grow in tall, different heights of different types of grasses. And this is really where that plot, one of my plots of short grass is going to be. I'm really starting to see it now. We worked on what we wanted the edge profile to look like. They have a little bit more cleanup to do and get rid of some rocks, bring in a little topsoil. But I think I'm going to be seeding that in the next probably 1 to 2 weeks, I'm guessing. And it's hard to tell the slope, but it really kind of ramps up. It'll be really nice once that carpet of grass is there. But from certain angles, it's really starting to come together. It looks so nice from certain viewpoints. I wanted to have everything bunched in full from the start, but they said you can't do that because it's going to overgrow and then they're going to have to be taking stuff out. So I have to practice a little bit of patience and let things fill in. And in the next year to 2, it should really start to bunch together and look like a true kind of woodland garden. You can see the deer already got some of my hostas. Along the back tier of grass, again, the camera here is super deceiving because that's a really big slope, and we had some torrential rains in the past week, and it exposed some areas that had some runoff. So they had to kind of pivot and build these little spillways, which it rained again subsequently or after that, and it did a great job. It kind of directed. We just worked with where the water needed to go, so it was a great fix and solution by them. They're starting to do some landscape lighting. This bed is kind of, I think, more or less done, other than some cleanup of some mulch and covering of some wires. We've got some, these are called Lumiere lights. Lumiere means light in French, just FYI. Really nice fixtures. Can't wait to see those lit up at night. So they're doing that all throughout the different landscape. There's different types of lighting. That cedar mulch is going to go in this path on the back. And this connects from the backyard at the bottom of that slope all the way back to the driveway, just in case we ever need to get anything back there, or if I need to take up a piece of equipment, a wheelbarrow. That's really the only way to get to the backyard. Along the driveway, same issue. That rain really exposed some issues, and it eroded a ton through there, so we had to create more spillways. Don't love the look, but it's kind of necessary, and once it's mulched and stuff starts filling in, it'll be fine. So yeah, that's where we're at. Overview. This is now August 19th, and I think just a couple more weeks. They said they always shot for Labor Day, and I think they're gonna get there, and it's all turning out really good. I can't say enough good things about the Weed Lady and their crew, and how much care they take and the work that they're doing. It's a big job. I'm glad someone else is doing it. I could never pull this off myself. I got to stick to my lawns. So stay tuned for the final product.